Hello, my name is Louie. I am a graphic and web design student graduating in 2026, and today I just wanted to show you a handful of projects that I've done throughout the past 3 years that I've enjoyed creating and that I'm very proud of. Okay, so for the first project that I'll be showcasing, it will be the first website that I coded independently, which is the Astoria Bistro and Restaurant project. For this project, I designed a website for Astoria Bistro and Botanique, a restaurant with an elegant and natural atmosphere. The main goal was to create a modern visual experience while keeping the interface clear and easy to navigate. I used a minimalist layout, strong typography, hierarchy, and a soft color palette in order to reflect the refined identity of the restaurant. I also focused on the imagery, spacing, and organization of the content to create more immersive and enjoyable user experience. Since a lot of time was spent working in front of the screen during this project, I also started going on more walks outside, which will help me live a healthy and active lifestyle, which is very important. Overall, this project helped me further develop my UI and UX design skills while creating a website that feels both aesthetic and functional. Project, I decided to showcase this Braiding Sweetgrass book cover that I designed. It was a redesigning of this book that was assigned to us, and we had to choose a quote inside the book that spoke to us, and we had to go off that. An issue that I found throughout this whole project was that I couldn't find a good way to communicate to the viewer to make it unique enough. To persevere with that issue, I decided to make it more physical, in the sense of adding more texture to the book cover itself by adding 3D elements to the pecan in the middle, and also to add some wood texture on the pecan as well to really emphasize on the quote. Mon prochain projet que je vais vous présenter, c'est mon projet de peinture numérique. Alors le but de ce projet était d'explorer la création artistique à travers le digital, en utilisant la lumière, les couleurs et les textures pour créer une image visuelle et forte. Je me suis concentré sur l'ambiance et spécifique des caméras. J'ai utilisé différentes techniques de peinture numérique pour ajouter de la profondeur et du réalisme. Un des défis principaux était de maîtriser les contrastes et les détails tout en gardant une composition équilibrée. Ce projet m'a permis d'améliorer mes compétences en illustration digitale et en storytelling visuel. Le résultat final démontre ma capacité à créer une image expressive et esthétique en utilisant des outils numériques. For my fourth project, I really wanted to showcase my AEU website that I've done, or Alliance Employees Union website, which was my first real-world experience job that I've had in this industry. This project alone led me to learn a bunch of new skills, such as more in-depth comprehension in JavaScript and also PHP, because of the fact that it is also used with WordPress. For this project, I chose to focus on an ethical issue in design, which is accessibility and inclusive user experience. Many websites, especially for organizations like unions, are difficult to navigate and not accessible to everyone. This can exclude users such as older individuals, people with visual impairments, or those who speak a different language. With my Alliance Employees Union website, I aim to address this by creating a clean and structured layout that makes information easy to find and understand. I also implemented a bilingual system to support both English and French users, making the platform more inclusive. This project shows that design is not just about aesthetics, but about responsibility, ensuring that all the users have equal access to important information. For the next project, I'll be showcasing my Solora wine label design, which was a 3-part project. And for this specific one, we needed to create a brand of wine and then create a label for it, including a bottle size, measurements, and a whole backstory behind it. For my backstory, I decided to have a brand that creates wine from Alsace, France, and that exports to Quebec and sold in local SAQs around the Quebec-Montreal region. The story behind the logo and the whole bottle concept is that I really wanted a nice chic little bottle with fruit flavored wines such as raspberry or blueberry and things of such. And for the design aspect, I really wanted to showcase that it was from Alsace, France, which is done from the logo, which is a stork, because the Alsace, France national animal is a stork. The most challenging thing about this was to keep it chic and simple in such a luxurious way that it was hard to play with the white space, but at the end product I enjoyed it. For my multimedia project, I decided to choose one of the hardest projects that I've had to do because it was to make a trailer. I decided to make a horror trailer, but based off stock images and videos. So this was really challenging for me to find a specific video that stick to theme throughout the whole 1 minute and a half, 1 minute-ish. It was pretty difficult to find just one concept because there were so many and so many different actors in the videos, which was just difficult to piece together overall. I decided to go with a more eerie vibe throughout the whole trailer that had a tempo in the back of a clock ticking every 5 seconds, which then increased towards the end, and more visual effects happening throughout the whole trailer, which was giving vibes to some like slasher type movie. For my next project, I'll be talking about my Alan Marsden art website that I did in a team, which was quite difficult to work with other individuals who I share a different opinion and mindset with, who can be on a more stubborn side, but we ended up working together and communicating properly to fulfill this website for the client. The whole process went pretty smoothly. Like, the meetings went really well, the in-person meetings went really well, the teamwork was decent, the communication was there, but at times we had a couple back and forths that led us to get delayed a bit. The main issue that we had throughout this whole project was to just figure out Squarespace, since none of us had any experience with it whatsoever. We had experience with WordPress. We were expecting to do WordPress initially, but then the client wanted to change and do Squarespace. So we had to just completely change our whole routine and just figure out one site, you know, and that went pretty easy because Squarespace is actually straightforward, so it wasn't too long. It was just the only issue we had. The rest was pretty easy. For my next project, it is my Porsche infographic that I did in my second year. It was a digital photo project. For this project, we needed to find a specific topic that we enjoyed and that we liked, and I am a car enthusiast, so for this project I decided to do a evolution of time throughout the Porsche 911 model, which is a car that I really dream about, and it went pretty well the whole time. It was pretty enjoyable, and I really liked designing the cars, and just the whole topic itself was very fun to do. Now for one of my favorite projects, it is the magazine cover that I did in my first year. This is probably one of the simplest projects, but also one of my favorite projects due to it being of one of my favorite artists. I really enjoyed the design of this project because I really liked the way that I played with the title and I played with the background and the image and how it follows the eye and all that. Un autre projet que je voulais vous montrer est mon carte postale de Paris. Pour ce projet, j'ai choisi une approche minimaliste avec une silhouette noire de la ville, mettant en valeur des monuments iconiques comme la Tour Eiffel. Le contraste entre le noir et le blanc permet de créer un visuel fort, simple et élégant. J'ai aussi ajouté un effet de reflet pour donner plus de profondeur et rendre la composition plus dynamique tout en gardant un style épuré. À l'arrière, j'ai respecté la structure classique d'une carte postale avec un espace pour le message et l'adresse, ainsi qu'un visuel inspiré d'un timbre. L'objectif était de combiner modernité et tradition pour représenter Paris de manière esthétique et reconnaissable. For my next project, I'll be showing my Japan travel book guide that I really enjoyed making because the whole design of this book really reflects how I am with everything, because I am a very minimalistic person and I really enjoy the fact that it was working with the white space and the grid and having images overlapping each other, being creative on the layout, that really challenged me in a bit, because I was used to like making things proper and aligned properly, but this one was very messy in a sense, but in a good way. I really enjoyed it because it's also one of my favorite countries, Japan. I'm in love with it and I would go back again, but it's a design aesthetic that I also implemented in my website portfolio, with the red bars and the little accents of color every now and then, and just the big numbering, you know what I mean? It's something that I really enjoyed. For my final project, I will be showcasing my Ati Ati hand brochure. It is a Filipino festival that is done yearly, that is to celebrate the indigenous culture in the Philippines with very bright colors and very loud aesthetic, which is the complete opposite of what I'm used to. So this was a very challenging project for me, just because it was very colorful and very vibrant, that I'm not used to it, and I'm very happy that I chose this because it made me connect more with my culture and also work through a boundary that I'm not used to, like getting out of my comfort zone by using different colors and more vibrant colors that don't necessarily match but still looks good together. And honestly, I was very happy with the outcome, with all the photos that I seen, because it's very loud in a sense and busy. It was really hard for me to keep the loudness and the aggressive tones of color that the festival brings in this design in such a little brochure, that it was just complicated for me to figure it out. But with the help of my teacher, I ended up making this brochure, which I am very proud of with the final product, and it was honestly just an amazing project to do. Thank you for watching my showcase. I really enjoyed the past 3 years at Heritage College because it really showed me that all the teachers and staff actually do care, and that I really got out of my comfort zone by learning a new skill of designing and even learning to code, which was very helpful for me. And I really learned that it was a passion that I really want to pursue in the future. Thank you for watching.